It wasn't necessarily my intent when I started this channel to share a whole bunch of history about South Carolina. I'm not going to say that history was my least favorite subject when I was in school, but it was not at the top of the list unless it was World War II or something more exciting. But so far on this channel, we've discovered the origin of the Catawba River. The Catawba Indian tribe was. Just this week, I've discovered that both the Cherokee and the Catawba Indian Nation lived in close proximity just outside of Spartanburg, South Carolina. And it was actually a group of French settlers that came to the Cherokee and the Catawba Nation and signed a peace treaty so all of them could live in close proximity, which is what brought about PAK-let. PAK-let is just outside of Spartanburg, South Carolina, and it's got a 1,970 person population. The median age in PAK-let is 48 years old, and the population by age range is pretty even all the way across. It ranges from about 9% up to about 16%, but a pretty healthy number, 11% for 10 to 19 and 9% for 20 to 29. The median age doesn't necessarily represent the youthful nature of PAK-let. 52% female, it is 76% white and 19% African American. Per capita income is $26,000 and the median household income is $45,000. To put it in perspective, the per capita income in Spartanburg is $32,000, so it's only about $6,000 more than PAK-let. Whereas the median household income in Spartanburg is $62,000, which is a $17,000 delta. Also, the median household income in South Carolina is about $64,000, or about $2,000 higher than Spartanburg. Poverty in PAK-let is 15.2%, which is a little bit higher than 14.4% in Spartanburg and 1.2 points higher than it is in South Carolina. Poverty for children under the age of 18 is 17%, and poverty for seniors 65 and older is 19%. And that's pretty high for seniors. $935 households with 2.1 persons per household. 40% of those people are married, and 45% of the population is married. There's 1,171 housing units in the area, with 80% of them being occupied versus vacant. 70% of the people who live in the housing units own the property. 80% of them are single unit structures. The median value of owner-occupied housing units is $91,000. 60% of them are $100,000 or less. 29% of them are 100 to 200, with 9% being between $200,000 and $300,000. .8% of the population are high school graduates or higher. Over 15% of the population has a bachelor's degree. .9% of the population are vets. 26% of them from the Korean War, 86% from Vietnam, and the remaining 18% are from Gulf War and Gulf War. The overall crime grade for PAK-let is a B+, which is pretty great. Property crime is 1.35 per 100,000. Violent crime in PAK-let is 1.15 per 100,000. Property crime is 2.9 per 100,000 versus 6.32 per 100,000 in the state of South Carolina versus 5.35 per 100,000 nationally. The last new tidbit of information that you may not know about the state of South Carolina I'm going to leave with you is that most people believe that the gold rushes all started pretty much west of the Mason-Dixon line. That's actually not the case. There was a kid that found a 17-pound yellow shiny rock in Carrabba's County, North Carolina, which is just above the South Carolina state line. His dad recognized it for what it was and took it to a nearby merchant that gave him $3.50. The news of the discovery spread, which eventually led to a Carolina gold rush. The road that leads down to the PAK-let heritage area is actually named Gold Mine. And though I assume that means that there was an actual gold mine in that area at some point, I haven't been able to corroborate that with any kind of documentation on the internet. I do know for a fact that just outside of Kershaw, South Carolina, there is a very large mining company that has been digging gold there for a very long time. One other thing I'd like to mention about PAK-let is it is, of course, another mill town. And if you've seen my video about Lockhart, South Carolina, Lockhart still provides the power from their hydroelectric dam to PAK-let. This place is huge. I assume it was part of the mill. That I believe that I know the correct way to say PAK-let. PAK-let? PAK-let. PAK-let. Hard to say if I've got it right yet or not. The internet will no doubt tell me the wrong way to say it. Pretty excited about that. So let's go see. Unfortunately, it's bolted, So I guess you would be down there. What a stinking trip. Fascinating. The concession stand back here. I don't think the lock is actually latched. And the door is not locked. We'll see a light switch. I don't know if you can see this. That's an interesting old facility. Yeah. Fascinating. Truly crazy, cool looking place. So when you're walking down the trail here, there's a very nice gentleman from the Canine Search and Rescue Group that told me you take the left path when you come down the trail. That takes you to an abutment, some type of, I think, old concrete bridge, possibly some kind of trestle. Not really sure, and a couple small bridges. The gentleman that gave me directions said it was not much more than a mile, but I'll tell you, it's all downhill. Coming in, it's probably going to suck on the way up. Little creek that runs through here. It looks like grass that's been perfectly mowed over there. Some type of clover, I'm guessing. This looks like us. There is not a good place to launch a drone, doesn't look like. Yeah, we'll see. So, okay. It is. I don't know how bold I feel. I want the drone from here. From my wife. Oh, a little stir for hornet's nest or something. I'd rather walk this than fly it. Covered in spider web. More of the same. Log jam. Well, before I came on this dirt road, my car was clean. Waxed even. Guess that time has passed. There is, of course, one exception to my less than enthusiastic view of history classes, and that is for Mrs. Pat Johnson, who taught me South Carolina history. And she really is the person who made me passionate about the state of South Carolina. From all your former students, Mrs. Pat, we love you and appreciate everything that you taught us.